That means all of my lecture is yes, so in English, so you have to say that all. Yeah. Okay, so we learn, just simply keep in mind Hadith Jibril. Hadith Jibril is the definition of religion. Hadith Jibril is the definition of religion. So Hadith Jibril includes how many things? What are those? Whoever says three, I think I have to re-evaluate you for the quiz competition. Okay. Yes. So basically Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and the Day of Judgment, or the science of the Day of Judgment. That's the basic idea, or that's the all these together, that is the religion. That is the meaning of religion, or collection of these four aspects are called religion or Islam. For us, of course. For others, I don't know, whatever for them, but at least for us Muslims, this is the meaning of religion. This should be. Therefore, why I am emphasizing on that? If someone comes to you and he says this is not a religion, so you have to ask the question, does it come under any of this or not? If he say, no, 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 this is not. So you have to say no. If anything comes under any of these four aspects, that means still it's a religion. That means still it's religion, and that is Islam, religion of Islam. If something is out of the fold of any of these, that is not a religion. So we read a hadith under that. And today's hadith is hadith number 41, as I mentioned. And this hadith is, mashallah, again, interesting hadith. And this hadith talks about the Iman. Again, it talks about the Iman, because we have Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and the Day of Judgment. So this hadith says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يكون هواه تبعا لما جئت به. None of you would be a believer unless or until his hawa, his desire, becomes obedient to what I brought. Meaning, the message of Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. If you are not following the message of the Prophet alayhi salam, that means your Iman, you are, according to this hadith, you are not a mu'min. I will explain that. What does it mean? You are not a mu'min. So let me explain this one. La yu'minu. It comes many hadiths. La yu'min, la yu'min. Some so and so is not mu'min, so and so is not mu'min, so and so is whoever does this. What does it mean? Does it mean that really, if you are not following, for example, hadith of Rasul alayhi salam, or you are not following sunnah of Rasul alayhi salam, or if you prayed the farda, you did not pray the sunnah, or you missed the prayer, for example, does it mean you are not a mu'min? What does it mean? According to this hadith, you are not a mu'min. La yu'minu ahadukum. None of you would be a believer until he follow, or his desire would be under my message, or his desire will be following, or his desire would not go against my message. So what would be the meaning then? Hurry up. You have to analyze that. La yu'minu ahadukum. What would be the meaning then? You are not praying, but still you are a believer. You are what? The meaning of this is, yes. Excellent. Not a complete believer, exactly, or true believer. You are not a perfect believer. You are a believer, but loosey-goosey kind of believer. Yeah, so you go, it's okay, I'm a Muslim. I say La ilaha illallah Muhammad. It's fine for me. That's fine for me. And that's it. So you are kind of that kind of believer. So you are not a perfect believer. You are not a complete believer. There is an incompleteness in your Iman. So wherever it comes, La yu'minu ahadukum, that means your Iman is not complete yet. Your Iman is not complete yet. and how your iman would complete by following all the message of Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. This hadith, according to Imam Nawawi, this hadith is Hasan and Sahih. Remember the definition of Sahih? What is the definition of Sahih? Huh? That is the literal meaning. You all have to, yes, you all have to remember these definitions. When I say these technical definition, the first condition was connection, a connectivity in the chain from muhaddith or for example from Imam Bukhari to Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Chain should be connected. And the second one was trustworthy, reliable. And the third point was there is no fault. And the fourth one? No, that's the explanation. Should not be shaz and mu'allaf. First, muttasilus sanad. Look there. First should be the chain is connected, and the second, adil, which is the reliable, just or reliable. The third one is tammud dhabt, who preserve completely, and the fourth one is should not be shuzuz, like the reliable does not go against more reliable, and the fifth one is illa, no defection. So 5 components of the Sahih Hadith. 5 components of Sahih Hadith. If 5 components would be there in any hadith, that hadith is known as Sahih or sound hadith. If any of these, or particularly tammud dhabt is not there, like more preservation, you are not preserving as it's supposed to be preserved from the beginning to the end. So because of this lacking point, that hadith is known what? Hasan. That is called Hasan. So I think most of you know Sahih or the sound and they're weak, da'if. No, there is a third category in middle. There are many, but the main category is Sahih, first of all, then the Hasan, then the da'if comes, and there are many more. So Sahih and Hasan, they both are valid equally in terms of ahkam, in terms of abstracting the rules of Islam. But none of you and none of our brothers and sisters, those who search online, they never heard, I think, the Hasan, word Hasan, which is reliable. Yes. If the tammud dhabt lacking in one of the component, you have 5 components for Sahih Hadith. So if you did not preserve it as it is, and it's supposed to be, you lacking that point, so Hadith will come down one category down. It's not a fake, it's not a weak, it's the valid, it's called Hasan. It's a reliable, and that is called Hasan. Imam Nawawi says this hadith is Hasan. This hadith is Hasan. La yu'minu ahadukum one, the one I just explained. So what does it mean? This is not Sahih, but it does not mean that is against the Sahih, or we cannot take that in terms of abstracting the rulings. No, it's valid. Simply for you to understand, you can say Sahih is the valid and Hasan also valid. Sahih and Hasan, they both are valid in terms of ahkam, in terms of abstracting the rules of Sharia. Okay? Okay. So this hadith is Hasan, and this is the meaning of hadith. By this, we completed the theme of religion, and we explain all the hadith which comes under the theme of religion. Now the next theme is scrupulousness, or you can say carefulness, being careful. Under that, there are 3 ahadith. First is hadith number 6. First one is hadith number 6. And This hadith number 6 is talking one of the issues which we always face that. So that I will talk about that. So let me read first this hadith. عن أبي عبد الله النعمان بن بشير رضي الله تعالى عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم يقول إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ بدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يرتع فيه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب رواه الإمام البخاري ومسلم. So this hadith is interesting hadith narrated by Nu'man ibn Bashir radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, one of the great companions of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. What this hadith say, and again this hadith used the word I heard. I told you this word. There is the meaning for I heard. Sami'atu. I heard. Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam saying. So this is the highest level of narration. If this word is used in hadith, that means this is the highest level of the chain of narration. Sami'tu. I heard Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam saying what? The halal is clear. Halal is clear. Haram is clear. And in between them, there are some doubtful things. Umur mushtabahat. Doubtful things. La ya'lamuhunna kathirun minan nas. These doubtful things, many people do not know. Many people do not know. فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبْهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. Whoever abstain from this shubha, this doubtful thing, that means he protected his deen, his religion, and his honor. So if you are away from this shubha, these doubtful things, so that means you protected your honor, not only your religion and your honor. You know the meaning of religion. Honor we will talk. وَمَنْ وَقَعَ فِي الشُّبْهَاتِ وَقَعَ فِي الْحَرَامِ. And if someone committed shubhat, the doubtful things, so that means he fell in a haram. He committed basically the haram things. If you are committing the doubtful things, that means basically it opens the door towards the haram things. Karra'i, like a shepherd who is around the. So Nabi alayhi salam basically most of the time gives the example to explain so that people could understand easily. So here the haram and halal and the doubtful things, he is giving us the example how you are going to understand the doubtful thing, how you are going to understand the doubtful thing. So he says, look, you have the camels, sheep, and you took them for the grass, and this is your land. And there is a boundary. There is a boundary, and your animal is under your boundary. And after this boundary, there is someone else's land, someone else's farm. So what you do, you have to be careful that your animal should stay in your own boundary, should not cross this boundary and go to another's farm, should not go there. And you are so careful. You are so careful. So what you do, when you are so careful, what you do not allow your animal to touch even the boundary line. So, okay, this is the boundary line. My animal will stay here until here. Because if it will go to the boundary line, so there is possibility that it will cross to their lands. So you are very careful that it should not go touch the boundary line. Feet away, you stay, or your animal stays. So Rasulullah says, likewise, all the kings here in this world, they have their boundaries. They have their kingdom. We have this country. America's boundary is here to here. Las Vegas starts from here to there. So we all have the boundaries. When you come here, the city limits start 35, 45, 40, whatever. The city limits starts. So these are the boundaries. And when you cross that, and you are in the 45 zone, speed limit zone, and you are driving, you will say, after I cross this, then I will slow down. When I cross this zone 45 and the 35 starts, so you think when the 35 zone comes, then I will stop. I will be slow. I will slow after that. What happened? Right away, once you enter that and you did not slow, you are waiting, the police comes and stops you and gives you the ticket because you crossed the limit. You crossed the limit. So Rasulullah says, all the things have like that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also has the boundary. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has also boundary. What is the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? His boundary is maharim, all the haram. This is haram, this is halal. This haram, you cannot commit that. For example, haram, fornication is haram. Drinking alcohol is haram. Eating pig is haram. All these are haram. It's clear. Rasulullah says in hadith, and also it's mentioned in the Quran. So these are the haram is clear. Haram is clear and halal is clear. And in between them, there is the maharim. There is the doubtful thing, shubhat, the doubtful thing. I'm giving an example. Let's say, obvious example, history, Las Vegas history. We know there are hundreds of haram things going on, isn't it? Hotels contains many haram actions, haram activities. And the place, gambling place, for example. These hotels, they have the gambling machines everywhere in all each stops. Not a problem if there is a food court. Not a problem to go to that food court because food is halal and the halal food are sold there. So you are going to the restaurant, but next to the restaurant, there are hundreds of machines, gambling machines, where you are playing. Would that be halal or haram? Going to this restaurant, would that be halal or haram? It's halal because the food is halal in that restaurant and you are not doing anything, but it comes under doubtful. It comes under doubtful because under the food courtyards, there are some haram activities. So it's possible for you, it's possible for me to fall down in that haram activities. So therefore, you have to protect yourself to go to in that place, to go to the street, for example, because there are hundreds of haram activities going on. This is just an obvious example for us to understand. Or let's say there is a restaurant, and this restaurant sells what? Alcohol as well. But it's a halal restaurant, Dhabiha halal, 100% hand salad, each and everything. He meets all that. But still he has some wine for the attraction of other people. Going to that restaurant, perfectly permitted, not a problem. Eating in that one, not a problem, no problem. But the doubt comes if you go there and you are coming, and I will see you and say, oh, he went to in this one. There is something wrong going on. So just doubtful. You are creating doubt to people's mind. And maybe sometimes you will fall down in that. It's possibility. So it's better to avoid. But if somewhere there is no choice, that's a different case. But I'm talking in normal and general cases. So it's better to avoid to go these places. And here the taqwa comes. This is called the taqwa. This is called the fight. This is how when you maintain that, then you go towards the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you start following the way of wali, what we taught, way of wali, the taqwa. These are the awliya people. They are the pious people. They are not only following the halal and haram, commands and prohibition. No, they also follow the the doubtful things, they do not commit the doubtful things. They do not go even near to that. They do not go even near to that. So the problem comes فَمَنِ اتَّقَى الشُّبْهَاتِ فَقَدْ اسْتَبْرَأَ لِدِينِهِ وَعِرْضِهِ. That is the emphasis point. Rasulullah says, if you are avoided that, you're avoiding that, so you are protecting your religion. Not only your religion, your honor, dignity. So here, let's say the example I said to you, this restaurant has the wine. In this case, religion is fine. But you are creating doubt in person's mind, the one who saw you. So you are losing your dignity. My assumption about you and your picture in my mind is, oh, so pious person, Imam Sahib, and this and this and this. And then Imam Sahib was seen last night in a place where is the wine. Imam Sahib did not do any wrong thing, but he was just seen in that place. So here, the doubt can in the mind of the person. So you are losing. Imam Sahib lost his dignity. So dignity is very important. And when you dignify yourself, that means you are really a real person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are the real person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So two things. So you are protecting your religion, you are protecting your honor and your dignity. But if you are not doing that, then there is a possibility waqa'a fil haram. Rasulullah did not say there is the chance or the possibility, but that is the meaning. That is, it's as you fall down in haram. It's as you committed haram. And then Rasulullah says, another example he gives, Ala wa inna fil jasad mudgha. Now the role of heart comes here. Ala wa inna fil jasad mudgha. Listen attentively, be careful. This is the meaning. When the word Allah comes in Arabic language, I'm not teaching you in 50 minutes Arabic language, but this is one of the points. Allah, when it comes in Arabic language, that means attentively, be careful, listen it attentively, with all of your mind and heart. Be present here. Allah. What is that? That's the Quran says, Allah inna awliya Allahi la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. Listen, there is no fear for the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no sadness for them. And there are many places Quran uses this word, Allah. Allah. Wa inna fil jasadi mudgha. Excellent word of Rasulullah. Excellent. And full of spirituality and full of nasiha and advice. Allah. Wa inna fil jasadi mudgha. In the human body, there is a piece of flesh. What does it do? إِذَا صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. When this is sound, the entire body will sound. The entire body is sound. وَإِذَا فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. And when it's disrupted or corrupted, the entire body is under the corruption. The entire body is corrupted. And what is that piece? Allah. Wahiya al-qalb. Listen. So again, Rasulullah is using this word, Allah, again, to emphasize that this is your heart. This is your heart. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah says, al-qalbu bayna isba'ayhi ar-rahman. Allah does not have the fingers, but Rasulullah says, the heart is between two fingers of Rahman, meaning under control of Allah subhanahu, not the finger actually, under control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah says, Allah, wahiya al-qalb. Listen, that is the heart. That is the heart. So all the issue go back to the heart. Go back to the heart. Now, your heart, how pure your heart is. You would say, Imam Manzar, I go to here and there. It's not halal, it's not haram, it's halal. But I would say, yes, it's not. You say, no, it's clearly so and so Shaykh says, yes, fine, alhamdulillah. I don't disagree with so and so Shaykh. They all said right. But where is taqwa? I'm talking about taqwa. I'm not talking about right and wrong. I'm not talking like permitted, not permitted. I'm not talking this is halal. No, I'm talking the higher level, which is the level of taqwa. which is the level of piety, which is the level of taqwa. And you must be, as a believer, as a mu'min, you must seek for taqwa. You must look for the taqwa. You must obtain the taqwa. And Rasulullah is teaching us his Allah wahi al-qalb. And the taqwa qalb comes through the qalb, through the hearts. So if your heart inclines towards that, and how the heart becomes dirty, how heart becomes dirty, or how heart corrupts, or what way it's corrupted, there are many ways. There are many ways, doubtful ways comes there. Doubtful ways are there. That's why there is another hadith that says, when you commit one sin, a point comes on your heart. And if you do not do the tawbah, to remove that, you have to do the tawbah. So if you are not doing the tawbah, so it's getting bigger and bigger. You commit again and again, bigger and bigger and bigger, until it covers entire of your heart. When it covers entire of your heart, what happens? You are nowhere. You can do all the bad things and looks like it's okay for me. I follow so and so shaykh. Good, alhamdulillah. You are following mashayikh, but your heart is stamped. Your heart is covered with all of the dirt. In order to remove that, you must do the tawbah, and after that, you cannot do it again. So the heart is very important, very important. So in Quran, many places the heart is mentioned, but in the history of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah says, "Illa man atallaha biqalbin salim." Illa man atallaha biqalbin salim. Except the one he's talking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the people, those who do not follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's path in the context of Ibrahim alayhi salam's story. And Ibrahim alayhi salam has the sound heart. Then he says, "Illa man atallaha biqalbin salim." On the day of judgment, there will be a problem for each and everyone except the one who has the sound heart. Who has the sound heart. And Rasulullah says that you have to focus on that. You have to focus on the Allah wahi al-qalb. In short, this hadith is interesting hadith and meaningful hadith, and that makes us to think about using the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and understand the meaning of haram and halal, and what is the limit for each and everything. That is the basic idea of this hadith. We'll continue discussing this hadith and the meaning. If you have the question, we'll discuss inshallah. But here I stop. Wabillahi tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.